obviously terrible shit happening all over the world. I do recognise that this kind of crap happens almost on a daily basis, and we don't hear about it because it's not France or it's not a European country, or it's but it's terrible, and we can only hope that future generations are going to sort this out. That includes us. We've got to get on top of it and work out how we can have a world of peace.
Imagine all the people living life in peace.
Home sweet home.
Welcome to Friday Fizz, episode number 10. Biggest news of the week: Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go.
Go Pokemon.
Wow. Right. Who's downloaded it? Clearly I have.
I've had to. I gave it.
Yeah. The time difference meant that Australia got it first. Great banter! I mean, it's massive. It's already the most viral app of all time, which is just phenomenal.
It's insane.
Yeah.
More users in the US than Tinder, and more active daily users than Twitter in the US as well.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, how fast has that become a thing? Clearly, the biggest thing is that it's virtual reality. Mm-hmm. We're actually out in the streets playing this game, finding Pokemon that are in actual physical places. That's fucking insane.
It's mental.
It is absolutely insane.
It forced me to go for a walk last night.
It's syncing virtual reality with reality, and they're becoming so merged into one. It's just, I can't even describe. This is like the beginning. This is like the real catalyst, and now we're going to see so many more. Like, all the developers around now, they're all scrambling around thinking, shit, we need to do more of this.
Yeah.
Like,
people are having meetups there, so there's like 20, 30 kids, or like people coming together, all chatting about Pokemon Go, and it's like an antisocial thing that becomes a meetup.
yeah, I mean, but I don't think it is antisocial. I think it's making gaming social again.
You join a faction like a team,
Yeah.
and then you help your teammates, and the only way you can do it is to be sat on the same bench as them.
Yeah, which is mad. It's like the mobile's where, like you were saying before, the mobile is where the attention's at, and it's got us out and about. And all four of us went for a walk.
Yeah, how many times have we done that last week?
Yeah. So we're going to see a shift in the world now. I genuinely believe that, and now we, as marketeers, we've got to now identify that space and work out how that affects us.
Yeah.
And the opportunity is massive. So what's that thing you were saying that you can buy?
It's those laws. So basically, like a business could buy coins or something, but
Yeah.
Poke coins.
You buy Poke coins and then spend them on laws, and then that attracts Pokemon to the area.
Yeah.
And then
So at our local Friday Drinks restaurant, which is where we go on Friday Drinks, look out for that later, is a Poke stop. So there's obviously you go there and you collect all sorts of crap. So it's already a Poke stop. So that restaurant could now use that as a massive draw to get people to the restaurant. Your kids are going to be happy. They're not going to pester you because they're there. They've got a Poke stop. And if he says, if he goes and says, right, during the night I'm going to release 3 laws, at untimed points, then they're going to come along and the kids are going to be like, refresh.
They'll be sat there waiting, yeah.
And that will pull people there because of the scale of Pokemon Go. It's just.
Well, like we say with Facebook ads, you run a special offer on Facebook ads. People will come down, obviously, to claim the special offer.
Yeah.
That's one way of doing it. With these Pokemon laws, obviously you've got, well, you would think it's a limited audience, but clearly the scale of it is not that limited. No. The fact there's, people of all ages pretty much playing it. So you set up these laws, and I looked at it, there was an article I was reading. It's about $1 or $1.50 per hour, it works out, to have laws running all the time. So you could just do it for 24 hours. You could say this weekend special deals or something. Yeah. I don't know any of the terminology for Pokemon, but...
Yeah. But, I mean, can anybody order that? Can anybody buy that?
anyone can buy the laws. But they've just announced the other day that they've reopened submissions for Pokestops. So the opportunity is there. If you've got a coffee shop or something, put a submission in.
I actually think the biggest thing here is just the fact that it's the start of a shift in gaming. It's a start in the shift of people's attitudes to your mobiles and what the use of your mobile device is. And in a bigger sense, it's the start of integrating human life with virtual reality. And I'm a massive believer that in our lifetime, it's going to be so great. Everything we do will be integrated into our virtual presence, you know, and that virtual presence will almost get, it will have a value. You know, like you build, you accumulate things in actual reality. You buy houses and cars, and I think that you're going to have a virtual value as well. I firmly believe that your life will become so integrated. Watch this space. I'm saying this now. 10, 20 years time. You know, when we're on episode 4892. So we've been asked by Lee Roll at Roll, WRALL. Give him a shout out because he watches our Friday Fizz. Not to talk about politics, and then we were asked to talk about politics.
Well, I think we can take it off on a tangent because Boris Johnson, most people when they're talking about him aren't talking about politics, really. You know, they're just taking a mick out of Boris as a character. And Training Station, so Training Station HQ on Twitter, they just mentioned like Boris's image and like almost a business image.
Right.
How he's seen and like jokingly, should he be restyled by Trini and Susanna? How important is the image, I suppose, to something like that?
It just needs to stop rugby tackling kids, really.
Yeah, no, I think it is interesting that, you know, your personal brand is so important to your business, and I suppose Boris Johnson's business is him, but for him, I think he's just a very intelligent guy who's played his image extremely well. You know, he was a bumbling idiot, but he was the lovable bumbling idiot. And then all of a sudden, this big referendum came out, and he had a massive influence because we all loved him. Now, then he became a hated figure, and now he's somehow walked into one of the top jobs. You know, and it's like, hang on a minute, well played, played.
Yeah.
But from an image perspective, I think it's critical. You know, I get criticised by some because of my language and sometimes my dress code. We went to an unnamed place once and they didn't like the fact that I wore trainers. But the reality is I don't want to work with those sort of people, so no great loss. But yet, there's a lot of people who say, do you know what, Dave, that's you being you. And this flips onto another thing that I wanted to start saying, is that it's so important in your branding to be sincere and be who you are, because if you try and be somebody you're not, I don't like wearing suits anymore. Occasions, yeah, but you know, so I don't, because why should I be somebody that I'm not? Because I'm putting on a false impression to that person. You look at our big successful business folk, Richard Branson's, you know, a hero of mine, and the reality is that he goes around wearing a shirt and jeans because that's what he feels comfortable in. He has meetings when he's not well, he has meetings in his bed. Like, he'll invite people to his home to have. If you've read one of his books, there was a time where he was hungover because he'd had a bit of a shit time. And he says to this guy the night before, whilst they were drinking, right, we need to talk, 9 a.m. tomorrow at my house. Well, he'd forgotten all about it, wakes up in bed, this guy's on door, so he goes down in his dressing gown, says, right, okay, we'll have the meeting, but I'm going back to bed. So that, you know, that's where they had the meeting, and why not? You know, we live in a virtual reality world, as we've just discussed. We can do anything anywhere, so you know, I think that's the way forward. But yeah, as a nation, it frustrates me how slow and stiff upper lip we still are. It's like, get over it. Who gives a fuck about wearing a suit? Book review, book review this week. Well, I've just spoken about Richard Branson. I can't remember the name of it. All 3 of Richard Branson's books, highly recommended. This storytelling, you know, it is his story, and they are available on audio. And one of the best things about it is that he explains that he's doing it from the comfort of his home, and he explains when the kids are there. He says, you know, sorry if you hear some background noise, and that kind of brings that other point back to it. You know, he lives life how he wants to live, but he still gets shit done. You know, and that's what you've got to do. So yeah, go and read Richard Branson's story. It is quite interesting, and you know, we spoke about the dip a couple of weeks ago, and even Richard Branson's had these dips. You know, he's had massive failures, but yet he's worth God knows how many billions. He owns his own island in, you know, somewhere.
Yeah. I had a final question, because quite a few people have told me where they watch Friday Fizz from. Some unmentionable on Friday Fizz. But I thought it'd be an interesting question at the end. Tell us where you're watching Friday Fizz right now.
That's a great show.
And then just put it in the comments below.
Yeah, comment on it below and we will reply to it. Cool. Thanks very much. Thanks for watching. Keep commenting and sharing and liking and everything like that. Friday Fizz out.
Fizz out.
Fizz out.
Thanks for watching this video. Check out some of our other videos and don't forget to like, comment and share this one.
Take 2 apples from 3 apples. What do you have? Take 2 apples from 3 apples. What do you have?
You've got loads of apples, mate. You've got 1 apple left.
You've got 1 apple.
Listen.
You say you've got 1 apple.
Listen. What we're talking about.
You haven't. You've got 2 apples.